In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
To get up to like $68,000, my heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
The Internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Whoa! Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Let's get set again.
They say we offer simple answers to complex problems. Well, perhaps there is a simple answer. Not an easy answer, but simple.
It's common ground. It's common ground. It's common ground. It's common ground.
We have serious problems to solve, and we need serious people to solve them. Republicans and Democrats.
All right, folks, good morning. This is Saturday, January 16th, 2016. You are listening to Finding Common Ground. I'm one half of the crew, Mr. Rick Robinson, joined in studio today by my good friend, Mr. Bryce Robbins. Well, I call him a good friend, but half the time you wouldn't know it by listening to the show. He is the left host of the show. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I am good. I'm wide awake, still doing swimming, so still getting up at 5:45 in the morning. So, can't complain too much.
Well, you could, but nobody listens.
Yeah, that's pretty much true. Yeah,
just saying. All right, so it's been a while since we've done one of these. How have you been for the last few weeks? We kind of did one, I think, right around Christmas time, and then we took a break. Now we're back. So how are things going on for you, and how was Hanukkah and all that fun stuff?
Things are good. Got some nice family time in. I can't complain. And looking at Bernie's poll numbers, I mean, I really can't complain. So
wait, did you say you were just looking at Bernie's poll?
What?
Did you just say you were looking at Bernie's poll?
God damn, it's too early for this. We're not even at the break mark yet. How have you been?
Doing all right. A little feisty.
That's all right. I mean, you are Rick, so
Well, they don't call me the rowdy one for nothing.
That is true.
All right, so lots of stuff going on in the news. Did you have anything particular you really wanted to talk about today? Because I think in between State of the Union and the debate, and the fact that your side keeps hiding their debates, I think the last half of this show is pretty well going to be taken up.
Well, yeah, but I make that clear. My side is not hiding the debate. It's Hillary Clinton, because she is hiding from the burn. See, that's the thing about fire. It spreads. Just get burned. There's no ice for this one.
Yeah, it spreads just like VD.
God damn it. Oh, all right, so you want to start the convo up about State of the Union?
All right, so actually I have a question for you. Yeah, I'm assuming you listened to it because you'd mentioned that you were going to listen to it since there was a miscommunication and we weren't able to do the live broadcast for you on Tuesday night. So what were your thoughts?
My thoughts were that Obama is going to be remembered, I think, as a decent president, but I think a lot of the points he touts about are not good. aren't very good points to tout about. And I think that while I always say that Obama laid the steps for the next president, I don't think we have achieved what we're after. I mean, let's just look at it in the big picture. Healthcare, he made it better, but it's a step. It's still very bad. Black lives in this country have, in every facet in the economic world, gotten worse. The situation in the Middle East is terrible. The Iranian situation is abhorrent. We're drilling for more oil, drilling for, pumping out more coal. But he touts about our environmental record. Yes, we're using less, but we're shipping out more. So, I mean, the Obama legacy is what he's after here. And I think it will be remembered favorably. But I think that it's really dependent on what this next president does. I think history will remember Obama much better if the next president capitalizes on some of the things he does. But I don't think that if we have a Republican president who reverses a lot of the things he does, I think Obama will just go down as a Bush era president with Clinton and, that crowd.
So in other words, what you're saying is as long as you can get Bernie elected, everything's going to be just fine.
You know what? You know me too well. Yeah, that's basically it.
So let me give you my take on the State of the Union, and then I'll actually delve in a little more detail. But I have a question first, and this is only because of your age. Do you know what a fluffer is?
Yeah, somebody who fluffs up the situation, like Obama.
Well, there's another term for it, too, but I'll let you look that up. So a fluffer, in the context that I'm talking about, is one that's used in the adult film industry. Someone that gets everybody excited just so they can get screwed. That's Obama.
I would not.
I mean, come on, dude. You know how many victory laps did he take on the stuff that didn't even work right?
No. Hear me out. That was. I'll give you an A+ on that one. That was a really good description. Like that was not bad. No, it's very true. He took a lot of victory laps over things that haven't been won yet.
Not even one. Some of them are worse than we started. I mean, just since the State of the Union speech, when he's all talking about how anybody that says America's economy in trouble, basically called you a dumbass. Walmart just announced they're closing 226 stores worldwide, and over half of them are in our country. But we're supposed to believe the economy's okay. The same president who told us when gas was a little under $3 a gallon that signs of weakening gas prices were a bad sign for the economy, but nobody wanted to talk about it, and he knew better than anybody else. Our gas prices are now below $2 a gallon in a lot of places, and just a little over $2 as the national average. Yet now it's supposed to be a good sign. Right
in my town, it's $1.63 for a gallon of gas.
Wait, in Jersey, you're getting it for $1.63? I'm getting robbed.
Yeah, we're getting $1.63. Well, that's because we're the closest to the ports.
I just paid $1.84. I feel robbed.
You should. But here's the thing, and I was just having this conversation about falling oil prices, and now with Iran coming into the market, because nobody's going to stop them from doing that. It's true. It's going to fall to $1. They say gasoline for $1, and they say it's a problem. But I don't understand the problem, because it's a problem for the people at the top, the big oil companies. And it'll be a problem for the U.S. oil companies because we can't produce as cheaply as the Middle East. But for consumers, we're having a heyday. I mean, that means more money in our pocket, more money to small businesses.
Not necessarily.
So at the top, what?
Here's the thing you're not taking into account. Yeah, $1 gas price sounds really, really great, unless you live in somewhere like North Dakota, Texas, or Oklahoma. In my line of work at my day job, I talk to people every single day that have begun being laid off from the oil industry because the prices per gallon are not high enough for them to justify the extra oil rigs that they've started when the price was booming. So there's going to be a really deep impact to the economy if this does not turn around. I mean, we're talking, I know people in the oil industry that even the people at the bottom, you guys like to talk about the top execs in the oil industry making all this money. Let me tell you where the real money is. I know roughnecks in the oil industry that make $9,000 a week.
No, I believe that. But we also.
But those same people that were making $9,000 a week are currently on food stamps.
I believe that
because they got laid off.
But here's the problem, though. Look, I don't mean to put it too bluntly, but an industry like oil, like coal, they're dying. And whether they're at their peak now, they have finite resources, and energy is something that we need constantly.
Oh, whatever, dude. People have been... Okay, look, hang on a second, because I've been around a little bit longer than you. People have been telling us since about 1900 that we only had about 100 years worth of oil left. What year are we in now?
All right, but all I'm saying is, if you look up Hubert's Law, which is that you can only find so many new oil wells, we've already peaked that in the United States, and his prediction was that oil production will fall in the United States, never to reach the point that it was in like the 1950s or 60s, and he was right. And now we're just using...
Do you realize with the new technology and everything else and the different ways that we found to maximize what oil we do find, if we were to tap every single vein of oil we have in this country, we would be the new millennial Saudi Arabia?
Oh, absolutely. But we also have to ask ourselves, do we want to do that?
But that's not my point. I'm not saying that we should do it because, then we'd have all kinds of tree-hugging hippie freakholes handcuffing themselves to trees. My point is, your whole statement is invalidated by the fact that if we really, really wanted to, we could be the Saudi Arabia of the 21st century, and we know it. So don't tell me that there's finite resources and we don't have enough of this and we don't have enough of that. Here's my point, and this goes out to everybody, including the idiots in the oil industry that have been hanging on too tightly. There are ways that we could fix this, and there are ways that we could fix this by finding new ways to have energy produced. And I'm not talking all the ways that don't work. That's another thing that irritated the crap out of me about the State of the Union. Obama started talking about how much work they've done in the green industry since he's been president. That's great, but everything he's touched has failed. He poured how much money into Solyndra? They're pretty much gone. Anywhere he has put money in the green industry, it's done. I don't know where to lay the blame. All I know is it didn't work. What I do know is all of these people that have made all of this money for all of these years over the oil industry really should have been looking at the long term and at the same time trying to figure out other ways to make sure, and this is the part of this, even as a conservative, I don't understand. If I was the guy at the top at the oil industry and I'm making like 50 cents a second just because I've got my eyes open, then the one thing that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be saying, look, I no, whether I believe in all this global warming, everything else, the simple fact of the matter is at some point, oil is going to become a thing of the past. So I need an R&D division opened up that can figure out a way that when we do the shift, my company shifts with it, and I keep making 50 cents a second for having my eyes open. I don't know why they didn't do that.
Well, here's what I'm going to say. And I was actually just recently watching this documentary. I recommend all our listeners go watch it. It's called Racing Extinction, saying how we are the asteroid of our planet today that was to the dinosaurs. We are killing off more animals, more species and organisms than at any other rate other than the last mass extinctions. And one of the biggest problems is we see climate change and we see the ice is melting, and we can always disagree what it's caused by. But then when we see that, we say, oh, this is more opportunity to drill more. Here's the problem. We are leaking so much methane into the atmosphere and CO2 that we are reaching levels where we've seen mass extinctions, and it's killing off plankton, which produce most of our oxygen. So I don't mean to get too sciencey here, but what we're going to see, and if we don't change our ways, I genuinely believe we're going to see another mass extinction. When the United States industrialized, there were 1 billion people on the planet. China's industrializing, and there's 1 billion people in their country alone. We are going to have a big problem if we do not do something. And that doesn't mean cut oil cold turkey. That doesn't mean, cut coal cold turkey like I would recommend. But what that does mean is we need to start what Obama has done, again, laid groundwork. But if you really want this to take off, the simple answer is make it cheaper. Figure out a way, I don't know how, but make it cheaper. And you know what? While we're at it, let's stop subsidizing the drilling of coal and oil and whatever. Just the free market's going to take care of it. And you know what? I guarantee you, here's what the future's going to be. We're going to have freaking amazing Tesla batteries in every single home. And on every single rooftop, you're going to have solar panels. And they're going to produce your energy for you every single day of the year. And you're not going to have any more energy companies, charging you an electric bill. I promise you. That's what's going to happen. That's my thoughts.
Those are your thoughts, huh?
Yeah, those are my thoughts.
So speaking of Tesla, not that I know that much about the Tesla battery, but have you heard about their new cars? Those things are amazing. I really, really want one.
Oh my god, it's like a freaking Batmobile.
I was like completely freaked out because I heard somebody talking about one the other day, and he's like, dude, it's great because I can set it on a timer. I park it in the garage. It turns itself on. It warms itself up. It opens the garage door, and it backs up and meets me at the driveway. I was like, are you kidding me? I want one.
This newest one that they made that's like out of the Tony Stark's garage can pick you up. You call it. It picks you up. What? Goodbye, Uber. Goodbye, taxis. Goodbye. That's amazing.
Oh, gee, see, now there you go. Now you've just given the anti-Tesla lobby their ammunition. You can't buy that car. You'll put a taxi driver out of business.
Hey, I live right next to New York. That's all we hear is you're putting taxi drivers out of New York. And I just think to myself, as liberal and socialist as I am, no, that's the free market working its beauty, is that I don't have to pay you, snotty asshole, and I can just pick up an Uber driver on my phone. So, but
so wait, granted, I know we're not there yet, but could you imagine being the Uber driver that just saves up all his pennies and invests in a Tesla, and then he doesn't have to be the one driving you everywhere, and he's still making money?
Shit, that's a good idea. It's probably not too far off.
I've actually heard that they can drive themselves for long periods as long as they're fairly straight. Now, the freaky thing that I've heard is, if you get to a turn and stuff, eventually, or usually, the car will get your attention and say, hey, you need to do this part because I'm not sure what I'm doing. But the thing about it is all of the Teslas are networked together. So if there's more than one Tesla taking the drive, it can actually network with the other cars and figure out what they've done to learn how to take the turns. And eventually, if it goes down the same route long enough, it can basically just drive itself wherever you need it to go, and all you need to do is put your hand on the steering wheel about every 10 minutes or so just so it knows somebody's still awake and alert in the car. It's kind of creepy.
Well, it was nice knowing you, because it seems like the Terminators are going to take over, so...
Come with me if you want to live.
Yeah, I think I might. Technology is amazing, and it's going to move the economy so quickly that I'm afraid that jobs aren't going to be able to evolve with it. So the one thing I did like about Obama's State of the Union, he mentioned a couple times, was that we need to change our education system to start teaching kids code and computer. Because you've seen me try to learn how to produce my own show. I'm
it's given me an aneurysm.
Yeah, I'm slow. So,
I've seen molasses learn faster or move faster.
It's not. I will not disagree with that. And I think that that's a problem, is we don't focus on handwork anymore, right? Like carpentry, plumbing, electricity, stuff like that. We focus solely on math, science, and reading, or not even, just math and science, and that's it. And what we're missing out on is...
And usually the worst part is the math is even terrible now. Did you see that meme going around Facebook that was talking about when the lottery was huge the other day? It was if we just divide it up among every American in the country, everybody gets $4.13 million. No. Before taxes, it's $4.13. After taxes, you got enough to buy a ticket and try again.
No, I was actually on Facebook in my class, dicking around, and I saw that, and I was like, wait a minute. And I took out my calculator just to make sure, and I was like, no, that's wrong. And then everybody started making the joke, this is wrong, this is wrong. I saw it first. That's my claim to fame. I saw that one first.
Yeah, well, you should have said something before everybody else did.
That's true. So, what else did you feel about Obama's State of the Union?
What
were your opinions on it?
I like the fact that he put Crazy Uncle Joe in charge of Mission Not Possible.
Yeah. I mean, even if it was possible, do you think they'd do it?
No, and that's the thing. This is going to be kind of a tinfoily hat kind of day for me, but let me just be completely honest. I'm pretty sure that if we really dug down into the medical industry, they probably have cures for most of the crap that's killing us. They don't make money off of cures. They make money off of prevention.
I'm not really disagreeing with you here, but this only leads me to ask this dickish follow-up question. Then why are you so adamant about the free market all the time? I mean, that is the free market failing you.
I never said the free market was perfect. The biggest issue that we have with the free market right now is technically we don't have a free market. We have what's called crony capitalism. If we actually had a free market, then people would find ways to make a decent enough profit off of the cure that they wouldn't need to continue making money off of perpetuating people being sick. Because the thing that used to be the key with the free market, and it's evident all the way throughout our history, there used to be such a time when people would build themselves up to the point where they knew that their families were taken care of and they knew that they were stable, and then they would help the people around them. This is evident by so many people that even after when they had died, they donated a good portion of their fortunes and everything else to start libraries and everything else. Nobody does that anymore. We've become... It's like... Have you ever watched the show Hoarders?
Yes.
Rich people are just like that, but it's only with money. Once they have it, they have to have more of it. They don't even know what they're doing with it. And I think it goes back to something, and I'm going to get hammered for this one, but it's in the Bible. When you do nothing but focus on money, money becomes the root of all evil. Our economy has become a base example of this, because we used to be the shining beacon of this is what happens when you have a free market. People all get rich, and then they work together to make each other rich, and they work together to make each other better. We don't do that anymore. Whoever makes it to the top, they get there by stepping on whoever they can, by climbing over whatever dead bodies they need to, and then once they're there, they stay there and to hell with everybody else. It's not a free market anymore. It's crony capitalism, and it needs to go.
So let me ask you a question, because this is where I think the real conversation comes from. You and I both like a true free market. You and I both despise crony capitalism. I think that's the biggest thing that we hate, and I think it's the destruction of our democracy and our government. And I think some of the most evident industries where we see crony capitalism is healthcare and finance. Two industries Bernie Sanders wants to destroy. Why don't you get behind that? What is it about his policies about breaking up the banks and making smaller banks? What is it about, maybe not socializing medicine, but getting rid of this idea of health insurance and making it health care? What is it that just turns you off? I have to know.
Well, okay, so look, if Bernie Sanders was running for the sole purpose of, hey, I'm going to leave everything else pretty much exactly the way it is, but I'm going to destroy the Fed and break up small banks, I'd vote for him. The problem is that's not the only thing that he wants to do. And this is the thing that drives me crazy, because it's the same argument that I've heard with the folks that align themselves with Obama, even though he's basically a closet socialist, whether anybody wants to admit it or not. What I keep hearing over and over again from even folks that like Dave, who are for Bernie Sanders, is because of the things that he has said about banks and a few other things. And then Dave looks at it and says, look, those other crazy things that he's saying, even if he gets elected, those other crazy things, those are never going to happen. That's the same stuff that we said about Obamacare. Everybody said, well, it's not going to be that big a deal if he gets elected because there's no way that's going to happen. It's never going to happen. This country won't allow that to happen. And it's happened. The thing about it is, because here's the thing. He's only targeting the banks because as far as he's concerned, the banks are evil. I don't necessarily think they're evil. I think they've become too big for their own good. It's kind of like...
evil. They're evil.
No, they're not.
Oh, come on. Come on. All right. Look, have you seen the movie The Big Short?
No.
You got to see it. It's this new movie out with Steve Carell, Ryan Gosling, Brad Pitt. Go see it. It's a great movie. See it today.
It lost me at Brad Pitt. Yeah.
All right. Well, he's not in the movie that much. And he's disguised. But it's a very good movie, and it explains the financial collapse of 2008. But I mean, from my understanding...
But hang on a second, though. Let's be honest about the financial collapse of 2008, because if you dig into it, yeah, you can lay it all at the feet of the banks, but it doesn't just belong there. The government was forcing them to do things that they told the government they really shouldn't be doing. That is what led to the financial collapse. If we really want to be completely honest, yes, part of it is the bank's fault. But the other part of it is we have a government that has become so overreaching that they have to be in everybody else's business, and they have to overregulate business to the point of they could and did tell the banks, if you don't give these people loans, we're going to start undercutting whatever grants or funding you get from us as a national institution. And that's exactly what they did. So the banks started being pressured into writing loans that they knew, and they told the government, the people that you want us to write these loans for, they are not going to be able to keep up their end of the deal. We cannot continue to do this.
Rick, I can't say yes to that because, yes, and I've said it many times, I attribute the financial collapse to the Clinton administration for their affordable housing program, and I agree with you there, but I'm not going to lay up on these banks. We have financial institutions.
I'm not saying to let up on the banks. I'm saying if we're going to place blame, it needs to go in both places.
Look, all I'm saying is maybe this is because of where we live, but I got to go see Occupy Wall Street firsthand and see people who were evicted from their homes, people who were screwed by the banks, not just the hippies. And to think that a bank...
Goddamn hippies.
It's true. But to think that a bank, people who make millions of dollars, like you said, 50 cents just for keeping their eyes open, are going to give out disingenuine loans to people, adjustable rate mortgages to people, and tell them that they can afford it when they knew they could not in the long run is sick. And all those people
were okay. Look, but here's the thing: when this program was first approached by the Clintons to the banking industry went to the government and said, "Are you insane? Are you?"
Yeah.
And they literally did. They told them, "If we do this, you already know that the people that you have specifically told us this program is supposed to help it's going to hurt them."
They ran with it.
They didn't have a choice.
They're still running with it.
Yeah, you know why they're still running with it? Because Obama restarted the program.
Yeah, and that's why I don't like him.
That's my point. The government keeps getting into every industry and telling every industry basically what it is that they have to do to survive. And because of that, we have things that have happened here. And I'm not trying to absolve the banks. Because if it were me and I was the owner of one of those banks, I would have let my doors close. Just been like, look, fine, okay. Then I need to take my money and go find something else to do because I'll be damned if you're going to tell me that I have to write loans to people that I know can't afford it. That would have been me. But you also have to look at it from whoever is in charge of that bank's perspective. How many thousands of people depend on that bank to make money every day? So can I honestly say, because I'm not there, that right now, if I had to make that choice, I would have taken the moral high ground and said, screw it, I'll let my doors close? I don't know what I would do if I was actually in that position, though. Because then how many people are depending on me? And how many and when it comes right down to it, the government has me over a barrel, so I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't. So how do I win? I mean, I faced the same scenario yesterday. In my drive-in to work yesterday, there's an intersection where I'm getting on the highway that has basically 3 lanes of traffic. There's 6 lanes but they're all oncoming, and there's an exit ramp that's a 2-way because you can go one way or then you're getting off the highway. So there's 1 lane of oncoming traffic to the right of me. There's 2-lane traffic in the lanes that I'm in, and to the left of me there's another set of 2-lane traffic. And there's a yield sign. Well, while I'm checking everything and making sure no traffic is coming, because the other car that was in front of me was like 500 feet in front of me, I didn't realize that he had come to a complete dead stop at the yield sign for no reason. So I look up and I have a bumper, or I can swerve into one of 2 oncoming lanes of traffic and hope that nobody's coming around the corner that's going to take my front end off. So I lock up my brakes and I hit a truck. There are such things as a no-win scenario. The banks were in a no-win scenario as soon as the government said, screw you, do this or else.
I'm not disagreeing with you here, but I can't.
Okay, so hang on a second. Because just for those trying to follow along at home, when you say I'm not disagreeing with you, but you're disagreeing.
That's true. Look, maybe it's because I've spent so much time debating with you, and when I hear you're angry, I know you're angry, but you're just not angry enough here. These bankers looked people in the eyes and said, here's your mortgage with a smile on their face, said you can afford this, you're going to have a great life, you can afford this.
Except you're missing the point. Okay, so let's take your analogy and take it just one step further, and then we really got to take a break because we're already at the bottom of the hour. Okay, so mortgage provider A is talking to customer A, and they're handing them the paperwork and the pen and saying, "Hey, it's great, you can do this," and they're smiling and everybody's laughing. What they don't realize is around the corner, where nobody can see it, from banker A's office, there's government representative A with a sniper rifle pointed right at banker A's head if he doesn't tell them to sign the note. Who wins?
All right, no, I agree, but here's the thing.
I agree, but here we go again.
No, here's not the but. It's more of, I think we're arguing and debating over the wrong thing here. The fact of the matter is we can both agree that the bank and the government messed up. And I won't protect the government, and I don't expect you to protect the banks here. The fact of the matter is the banks are too big, the banks are corrupt, we need to break them up now, and that's the only solution. The finance industry cannot be this big. The number one industry in America should not be finance because it's concentrating wealth, it's destroying the middle class, it already has. So they projected that if one of the biggest financial institutions went under, which, by the way, they've grown by 11% since the financial collapse, since the bailout of the financial collapse, then they're going to tank the whole economy again. So let's break up the banks. And like I said this before Bernie Sanders made it his policy, but have community and regional credit unions for people. And that way we can have the community have an elected official or elected officials specifically designated to their community credit union handling loans for the community. The community puts in money, the community gets loans out of money. That's what banks are for collective revenue, for collective capital, so that we can give out loans to people because we don't have enough capital alone to start up a business. So that's what a bank is for. Banks aren't there to be these humongous finance companies that they've become, and they're destroying our economy. So my opinion is break them up.
Okay, but okay, we really got to take a break, but I want to hit on one last point before I do. The reason the banks are as big as they are now, a lot of it, if you think about it, the banks are the insurance companies of the banks are to the finance world and to consumers what the insurance companies are to patients and medicine. They're the guys in the middle. Once somebody gets into the middle, the prices start going nuts. Think about what it costs to buy a new car right now. Think about what it costs to buy a new house right now. There used to be a time before the banks realized that, hey, we could make money off of giving people these extended loans and charge interest and everything else. You could buy a car for a few $100s. You can't do that anymore. But the thing about that is, it's its own self-perpetuating cycle, because once the banks started figuring out that they could charge interest on loans and give people the ability to extend their income for the short term by giving them the chance to make smaller payments on something that's more expensive, what happened is a lot of the industries that were impacted by that suddenly realized they could start charging more because it doesn't matter as much, because now it's being passed on to the consumer in the long term instead of the short term. So it's this great big self-perpetuating cycle, and that's what needs to be broken. And it needs to be broken in several different ways. But the reason I cannot get behind Bernie Sanders is, yes, I agree with him saying that he wants to break up the banks. I've told everybody from day one the banks shouldn't have been the people that were bailed out. If we would have taken the money that they gave to those banks and actually bailed out the people that were underwater in their mortgages, that would have saved the economy. But that's not what it was about. It was about making sure that the people that were lining the politicians' pockets got to keep their seat at the table. My point here is, if he wasn't trying to socialize everything else and telling me that more government control is going to be great when it comes to everything else, then I would probably vote for the guy. But I cannot pull the lever for somebody who wants to take even more control of the little bit that I have left from my life and hand it over to the government. And at that point, we have really got to take a break. So we'll be right back here in just a couple of minutes.
They say we offer simple answers to complex problems. But perhaps there is a simple answer.
It's common ground. It's common ground. It's common ground. It's common ground.
The internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Whoa! Good God, y'all! What is
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-513-6154. That's 1-800-513-6154. Again, 1-800-513-6154. Call now.
Wondering why you're up early with us on a Sunday morning making a cocktail? News lately got you drinking? Hung over from the mainstream media by Sunday? We are, and we got you covered.
We sure do. We got your hangover cure for those weekly news blues. So sit back, top off your mimosa, and add some Baileys to that coffee.
Take a match to your copy of the New York Times. Light, funny, and oh yeah, news with booze.
And a lot of laughter.
Welcome to Bloody Marys and Broadsheets.
The staff of K98 Talk and the Spark Radio Network is proud to announce that our very own Rowdy Rick Robinson has been selected as one of the top conservative talk show hosts in the nation for his program America Off the Rails. Again, congratulations to Rowdy Rick Robinson for a job well done and another reason to stay connected to K98 Talk and the Spark Radio Network.
Our military service members volunteer to protect us in the most dangerous places around the world. They step up. And when they are severely ill or injured, returning to their families is only the beginning of their long road home. Wounded Warrior Project provides these brave men and women whatever they need to continue their fight for independence at no cost for life. So now it's time for a grateful nation to step up. Join us at findwwp.org.
Common ground, it's common ground, it's common ground, it's common ground.
All right, folks, we're back. We're live. This is Finding Common Ground. I'm Rick Robinson, joined again by Bryce Robbins, and pardon me while I try not to choke to death for some reason.
You all right there?
I think so, maybe.
So this just in that the 4 American prisoners were released by Iran today. And that includes that guy, Jason Reznian. He's coming home. So I just saw that, and I just wanted to let everyone who's listening know that the 4 American prisoners in Iran are now freed.
About damn time.
Damn right.
Same. All right, so where were we before we went to break?
We were talking about the banks, but probably should change topics now, keep things interesting. I kind of wanted to talk about the Republican debate, and I kind of wanted to talk about Donald Trump. I don't know. Did you catch the Republican debate?
Of course. I did a whole, an hour after it was over.
All right. So what did you think about Donald Trump, his 9/11 response? Because, I mean, to me, that very well... Here, I'm just going to play the clip. Let's see if it plays. You know me and my love with video clips.
Here in Charleston, a tense battle erupted in last night's Republicans earlier in the campaign finally reached its breaking point. And as Hallie Jackson reports, the fight spilled over today onto the campaign trail.
at an Iowa pizza chain.
We have to get out. We gotta win.
Not exactly a New York slice for a candidate who's now a defender of New York values after this moment at the Republican debate.
But everyone understands that the values in New York City are socially liberal or pro-abortion or pro-gay marriage.
Donald Trump's response, invoking 9/11.
We rebuilt downtown Manhattan, and everybody in the world watched, and everybody in the world loved New York and loved New Yorkers. And I have to tell you, that was a very insulting statement that Ted made.
And on that, at least, he and Hillary Clinton agree. New York's reaction? Drop dead, Ted.
He has no trouble.
All right, so that is the gist of what happened, and I gotta be honest, that was a very well-rehearsed answer. He knew it was going to come up. He knocked it out of the park, and I think that's going to take him to the nomination. I really do.
I really hope not.
Rick, your party is the party of Donald Trump now.
That's all right. At least the sponsor for my debates isn't Geritol.
Fuck you too. Look, I gotta ask you, what are you gonna do?
I already
what
told
are you gonna do, Rick?
I already told you. I mean, look, I'm gonna be completely honest. In my state, it's not gonna matter. I mean, my state has 77 counties. Every single county went red. Every single county went red, both elections for Obama. So I could basically write in Mickey Mouse and it's not going to matter. And if Donald Trump is the nominee, that may be exactly what I do. Only because I cannot and will not support Donald Trump. I can't. Not after some of the crazy things that he said, the even crazier things that he's done. I mean, he stood on national TV and made fun of a guy with a disability. As someone who has issues that have now made me look a lot like that guy that he was making fun of, he can kiss my ass.
So, can't you just vote for Brent? Come on, just for me. Can you do it?
No.
Damn it, Rick. You will vote for Bernie and you will like it.
You are not a Jedi, sir, and even if you were, your Jedi mind tricks will not work on me.
Oh, yes, they will. You just wait. You will vote for Bernie and you will like it. Look, here's the thing. Don't not vote. I don't know. Would you not vote? Is that something that you would consider, not voting at all?
Oh, see, I'm technically voting. I will go through the exercise. I will show my ID. I will go in there. I will look, and if he is the nominee, I will write in somebody else. Because I cannot do it. Especially if it comes down to Trump or Bernie, there's no win for anybody there. I mean, look, they're basically the same people. The only difference is one is an asshat and the other one's so old he doesn't know what he's talking about.
You know, I think you say this now, but then when it comes time in the general election where it's Bernie and Trump because Hillary's out, you are going to have that attitude. You're going to drive down there. I'm going to write in Mickey Mouse. You're going to get there. Your hand's going to start trembling. Your head's going to start sweating. And out of nowhere, you're just going to write Bernie Sanders. And then you're going to just submit your ballot. And that'll be that. And you'll walk home and you'll pretend like it never happened. You'll feel like a dirty college girl walking home to her dormitory. But that's what's going to happen. You are going to be wearing your high...
So just to make you feel better, only because that way at least I'll get close, how about if I write in Colonel Harlan Sanders?
You know, if you just write Sanders, like any... Colonel Sanders, if you write KFC, I'll be fine, because that's close enough.
I'm telling you, I'd rather have the dead chicken guy in the White House than either one of these guys.
If you just write like $5 fill up, I'll be fine with that. It's not a problem.
Oh, too easy. Next topic. Otherwise, I'm going to get myself in trouble.
Goddamn, Rick. Look, I mean, but back to Donald Trump's statement. We kind of got off topic here. What do you think that's going to do for him as a candidate?
Well, I mean, since we are in the age of nobody learns anything if it's not a soundbite, I think you're right. I think it will help him immensely. I also do not like the fact that we live in now a day and age where if it's not 30 seconds or less, nobody listens. That annoys me because we are now witnessing my side doing exactly what happened with your side in both 2008 and 2012. They have glommed onto this entire cult of personality situation where the guy tells you what you want to hear, and let's face it, the thing that I guess disturbs me the most is I didn't realize how many angry, viscerally angry people there are on my side of the aisle. And I know there are just as many viscerally angry people on the Democratic side of the aisle. Otherwise, Black Lives Matter and the other groups that have risen through the ranks over the last 4 years wouldn't be there. But the simple fact of the matter is, I guess I didn't realize how deep-seatedly angry this country still was. And that's what concerns me, because that's how Donald Trump has gotten where he is. It's not because he's telling people the right things. It's not even because he's telling people how he's going to fix things. It's because he's figured out if I get them angry enough, they're going to vote for me.
So let's just, all right, so in the primaries, you're going to get to vote for whoever. Can I just ask who? Who are you thinking? Who do you want?
If I had my druthers at this point, only because of the choices that are still available, I would probably have to go with Cruz. Because he's Donald Trump without all the crap.
Ted Cruz? I just got an email from him, from his office. No, don't vote for Ted Cruz. Why him? He's a piece of shit.
Really?
He looks like a piece of shit. He's a slime ball. His wife worked for Goldman Sachs. So, since we just got off the whole banking topic, you caught me at a bad time here with Ted Cruz. Why not Marco Rubio?
Because if you think Ted Cruz looks like a slime ball, Marco Rubio is a slime ball. I mean, there's a difference between looking like one and being one. Marco Rubio sells his votes to the highest bidder. How many times does he? I mean, he goes when he's there. How many times does he vote for stuff that he tells people he's not going to vote for? Look at his voting record. Most of the time, he's not even around for votes. When he is around for votes, he usually does the exact opposite of what he tells his constituents he's going to do. That's not the type of person I want to see in the White House.
Chris Christie?
I have to tell you, Christie, and you've known me long enough to hear me take shots at Christie over and over and over again. I have to tell you, he surprised me during the debates. I have to say that he, especially, I mean, this is the first time I've put him in the rankings, but we talked about this on a roundtable show that I did after the debates the other night. I think it was almost a dead heat between, at least in my estimation, Cruz and Christie. And the only reason that I actually put Christie up front and Cruz as a second that night was because of the fact that Christie took a shot that Rubio was trying to volley at him and just knocked it right back in his face and said, look, you had your shot, you blew it.
Yeah. I mean, you thought Cruz won?
No, actually, I thought my number one for that night was Christie.
Not Trump.
No, fuck Trump.
No, I know fuck Trump, but Trump's, that 9/11 comment is going to take him far. So I'm not talking about who I like. I'm talking about who won. And that clip.
Okay, but correct me if I'm wrong, but that 9/11 comment that he made wasn't during the debate. That was after the debate.
No. You're wrong.
Okay.
Yeah. No. He and Ted Cruz was clapping at him on stage, and they were filming it, and they saw Ted Cruz clapping as Donald Trump made that comment to refute Ted Cruz's statement.
But, I mean, come on, look. I mean, I know New Yorkers are upset about the comment because that would be like somebody on stage saying, you know what, fuck Oklahoma City and their values. I get that. I understand that. But let's be real honest. New York City values and New York values are not necessarily the values of the rest of the country. And I'm not even saying that to be mean. I don't want a mayor that says all of a sudden I can't go buy a 32-ounce Big Gulp because it's too big, so instead I have to buy 2 20s.
And that was overturned. That didn't even happen.
It doesn't matter because it was attempted. That's the point. The simple fact of the matter is it doesn't always matter what is successful as much as what is tried. Look at all of the different failed legislation inside the state of New York, and then you'll get a really good look at those people's values as a whole. Because if it wasn't an indication of their values, they wouldn't keep electing the same people trying to do all the same stupid crap.
Look, all I'm saying is I live 2 seconds away from New York. Literally, the next town over, there's the George Washington Bridge. I drive right up the block and I'm there.
Still terrifies me that you drive.
Yeah, that is true. But I worked inside an office of a New York City legislature. Bill Perkins, he's running for congressman now. I'm trying to get him on the show. And yes, they are slime balls who just want the title for the most part. But what I must say is that, I think New York is a powerful state. And I think, if you really look at it, New York State is mostly conservative. So the idea that they're mostly abortion-loving liberals is just absolutely false. And I don't know. I just
if you look at the map, then New York is mostly conservative. But the issue is those conservative outlying areas are not the densely populated city areas. So no, your analogy doesn't hold true.
Whatever. Doesn't even matter.
This is what happens when I start winning an argument, folks. He just says, "Fuck it, I give up."
Yeah,
happens every time.
I give up. Anyways, did you hear about some atheist group is filing a lawsuit to remove "In God We Trust" from our currency?
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, they said, quote, "There is obviously no compelling government interest in having "In God We Trust" on our money." But what also doesn't surprise me...
And there's no compelling human interest in that atheist group being douche nozzles, but they're doing it anyway.
No, uber douche nozzles. And in all honesty, I mean, I'm not a religious person, but, I just like it there. It's just, cool. Yeah, in God we trust, motherfuckers. Just stop ruining everything. It's so annoying.
Fun times. All right, so we're down to about 4 minutes till we got to get out of here because we got to make room for yours. So anything you want to tell folks, anything interesting upcoming for you?
Well, so I had a guest planned for today, but she decided that she was going to go to a environmentalist rally for methane leaking in California. That's where she's from. So I'm out of a guest today. We were going to talk about Israel. She's very anti-Israel and their policies, and we all know where that conversation is going to go. But, I kind of am tired today, so serendipity, whatever. We are going to talk about, on my show, Donald Trump's New York comments, and obviously I've got to talk about Bernie's polls.
Of course you've got to talk about Bernie's poll. You like to polish it.
God damn it, Rick. God damn it. One day. But, I must say, there is an interesting thing happening in our political system, and we are getting the prime time to really talk about it. It's amazing what's happening this year. There was a new statistic I was going to mention in my show. Hillary Clinton's poll numbers are falling at a faster rate than they did in 2008 to Obama. And it's not a little faster, it's a fuckload faster.
It doesn't help when you have high-ranking officials in the FBI leaking stories about the fact that she's probably facing indictment soon. Just saying.
Yeah. I mean... Yeah. She's not going to be the next president.
So I guess my question before we roll the outro and the last couple of commercials, I actually have it on pretty good authority that she is likely going to be indicted. I'm still not sure, but I want to get your take on it. Knowing the actions of the DOJ under the Obama administration, do you honestly think they're going to legitimately try to indict her, or what do you think is going to happen?
I think that I want to say yes, but what's Justin Bieber's new song? You want to say yes, but you nod your head no. What do you mean? That's kind of how I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my thing with it is here, and this is why I'm on the fence with it. Look, first of all, I know there's no love lost between the Obama family and the Clinton family. That's apparent because when Obama won in 2008, he promised that he would get behind Hillary. Ooh, that sounded wrong. But anyway, and then when he won re-election in 2012, because let's face it, his performance in the first debate, you could pretty much imagine that as far as he was concerned, his career as the president was over. Either that or he just decided to phone it in that night because he just wasn't sure what was going to happen. Then basically after 2012, when he won his second term, there was a private phone conversation between Mr. Obama and Mr. Bill Clinton, where they had the conversation about, now don't forget, you promised when your terms are up you're going to support Hillary, and that's when Obama basically told Clinton to go fly a kite. Not quite in those particular words. So there's really hasn't been any love lost between those families for quite some time, and that's the only reason why I'm wondering, honestly, even with as inept and corrupt as this administration has been, since those two families are basically enemies of one another, I wouldn't be surprised if he does at least eventually have them try for it. It'll be a stretch, but I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't at least try for it.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Would we not be happy about this?
Well, no, I'm not saying I won't be. As far as I'm concerned, she should be under the jail, not in it. But I'm just saying I've got like the angel on one side and the devil on the other, and they can't seem to make up their mind which way this is going to go. Because on one hand, I hear from folks that have high-ranking FBI connections that are like, yeah, this is a done deal. She's going to at least get the indictments handed in. We don't know what's going to happen with them. But at the same time, I look at everything else that's gone on in this administration, and it's basically just been completely swept under the rug. The only reason I think I'm leaning more towards the FBI information that I have from a source that shall remain nameless is the fact that they hate her. So I think that's going to ultimately play very poorly for her. Although she will be in prison and have unlimited access to as much carpet as she wants to munch on, so I guess for her that might not be a bad thing.
I want to announce to everybody listening that today I'm starting an initiative that we are going to get Rick to vote for Bernie Sanders. And, John F. Kennedy stood before America and said, we will go to the moon, and they did it. All I want is Rick to pull the lever, write the name, however they do it, for Bernie Sanders. So today, we make Rick vote for Bernie, not because it is easy, but I'm not going to say the next part, because I know Rick is going to twist that. But he's going to do it.
Not going to do it. Wouldn't be prudent. All right, so let me do this, only because my vote's not going to count for crap in my state, because it doesn't matter if I'm the one lone guy that votes for the blue guy. So this is what I will do, as long as it helps build the station. We have, through I think it's RNWJ, we have a Kickstarter campaign. It's going to be running for about another 30 days. We're looking to raise about $800. So far, we're at about 10% of the goal. What we're looking for is to be able to take the money that you guys would provide us and basically use it for day-to-day expenses, so I can take that dollar amount that I'm usually spending to keep things running for about 3 months and actually invest it in advertising for the Spark Radio Network. So this is what I will do. If you are that imperative that I pull the lever for Bernie Sanders, you get that campaign fully funded, and I'll friggin' vote for Bernie.
You send me that link to that Kickstarter. And let's just say, I've told people on Opinion Nation, over my radio show, like Opinion Nation, and like you have. So I tell people to raise money, and raise money they do. You will vote for Bernie.
I was going to say I'll take a picture to prove it, but I can't because that's illegal.
I do it anyways. But you send me that link to that Kickstarter, and I'm going to make this happen.
All right, folks, on that note, we've got to get out of here because we've got to make room for Bryce. I guess it's not as imperative because I wasn't aware that his guest had canceled on him, which now I feel really bad for the miscommunication on Tuesday, but we'll get it worked out again. All right, we are out, folks. Hang on, stay tuned. For those of you of the left-leaning persuasion, your fearless leader is up next. I'm not sure. I was going to come up with something snarky to say, but I just don't have it in me anymore. I guess too many Bernie poll jokes for the day. Bye, folks.
They say we offer simple answers to complex problems. But perhaps there is a simple answer. Not an easy answer, but simple.
It's common ground.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-513-6154. That's 1-800-513-6154. Again, 1-800-513-6154. Call now.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.